Back again. I'm sure I've said that twice. Now, everybody has been doing videos about Daniel Bryan lately, and I think I need to jump on that bandwagon. And actually, I'm going to speak straight from here and here because there's a lot to talk about, and there's so much I want to say. And as the title of the video says, it's going to say, because I'm not too sure, you know what I'm like. Look, let's be real. WWE, give the fans what they want. The fans want to cheer for Daniel Bryan, and what I'm really getting at is, could this be the summer of Daniel Bryan, which is a strange thing to say. Maybe it has a bit of a ring to it, but every summer they have something. They had Nexus, that angle in the summer, which was the big thing. The next year was CM Punk. The year after that, what was it? CM Punk turning heel. That was the big shocker, the big angle, the big thing that they went with. And this year, as things are starting to form and happen, Daniel Bryan seems to be poised to have a big run again. And a lot of people believe that this is going to be as a heel. Apparently the company have suggested that they're going to turn him as a heel and turn him on Kane, as they've done segments with him. You know, there was a segment with him and Kane arguing all the time, and Kane trying to reassure him, you're not the weak link. Bret Hart coming in, then he listens to Bret, and then Kane says, I said the same thing, but how comes you won't listen to me? And Bryan responds with, that was Bret Hart, and you're just Kane. And you look at something like that and you would believe that they're going to turn him heel. And I'm going to say this right now. There hasn't been a time, maybe since last year, where again, the fans want to cheer for Daniel Bryan. And I remember last year, WrestleMania, and he was coming out, he's done a great job as a heel leading into it. But he's coming out and he's doing his yes, and I could see fans doing it with him. And I saw a lot of babyface potential there. And the next, after the 18-second match and everything that happened, that infuriated a lot of people to the point where Daniel Bryan was like the babyface when he wasn't supposed to be in those 4 weeks. And fans wanted a babyface turn and they wanted to cheer for him, but they went in the opposite direction and kept him as a heel and rejecting the fans, and people wanted a double turn, sort of like a Bret Austin in the Sheamus-Bryan match, and then make Bryan chase Sheamus for the belt, which would have worked. Instead, they went in the opposite direction and they force-fed a Sheamus, a guy that people are lukewarm at best towards this guy. And fans still, to this day, don't really identify with him. His character's a knob, his character's a dick, his character's a bully, his character is basically John Cena light, or Diet John Cena. And fans don't really, he'll get a reaction when he comes out, but it's not this overwhelming babyface reaction. Fans don't, they haven't taken to him like that. But then you look on the other hand, Daniel Bryan, fans are crazy about the guy. And look, to the Eric Bischoffs of the world that want to say it's the 10%ers, fuck you. It's not the 10%ers. There's everyone around the world in the audiences on TV. This Daniel Bryan craze has really caught on. And you can't just say it's this minority audience on the internet that are saying it. It's not. The fans as a whole, it seems to be a universal thing. The fans want to cheer for Daniel Bryan. And I'm not surprised that this has happened. Because if you've ever seen me do a video before on Daniel Bryan, if you've ever seen me do a video when he was Bryan Danielson and him being in the WWE, if you've ever seen anything like that, you've always heard me say, and I've gone against what everyone else has said, Bryan can cut a promo, Bryan can adjust to the WWE style, Bryan can do pretty much anything you want him to do, whether it's in a match or whether it's in a segment. Bryan can carry both ends. Now, I'm not saying he's Dusty Rhodes to the Rock on the stick, but I am saying he's very effective there, and he knows how to engage with the audience with his words. And loads of people kept saying, kind of labeling him and pigeonholing him as this, one-dimensional performer. He's just good in the ring, but that's it. And I've always gone against that, and I've always said he had the personality to do it. And if you've never seen his Ring of Honor stuff from 2005 all the way throughout to the time he left, you can see it right there and then. The guy can be a great personality, whether it's a heel or a babyface, especially as a heel. And it seems like those things that I said years back have been proven, because Daniel Bryan has actually shown the personality and shown the presence and shown the look and shown just all these other elements that people thought that he didn't have, but he has them. And it's time now to just go forward and to just go as crazy as he can. He is getting the push. NYG for life. I watched his video this morning and I agree with him. Bryan has been getting a push. I think the one thing that fans are frustrated with is the sort of push that he's getting since he's been in the company. And while he's been used, they've always dragged him down with something, or put a chain, or shackled his feet and chained his hands a little bit. And when he first came in, they labelled him boring. Then they had the Michael Cole commentary for about a year where Michael Cole would just bury everything he was doing on screen via Vince McMahon, come telling him he's a nerd, telling him he's boring. And Bryan would very rarely actually have a rebuttal to anything Michael Cole would say. And that was just like getting more and more ridiculous. The 18-second thing. Then they would have, I remember in a segment when they had him, when he was actually doing well after he got fired, which was the other thing. He gets fired, and then they carried on the Michael Cole burial anyways on the mic when he came back. When he came back, he was doing very well and carried Miz to his best matches, in my opinion, and had some great matches with Morrison and DiBiase. And then they took a shot at him again and had Maurice say, well, I'm bigger than Daniel Bryan. How can you lose to someone that's smaller than me? And they just kept finding things to pick on, whether it was his look or just how big or little he was, things like that. And then he won the Money in the Bank, and they didn't even go all the way with him. He was an afterthought. He was on dark matches, on pay-per-views, when he's supposed to be a potential world champion, put him on a losing streak, and then they started to use him again, and then he lost in that 18-second match, and then the fans wanted to cheer for him, and no, they turned him heel. And it's about time now that they take the chains off. Stop fucking him royally. Just go all the way with him. Now, I'm not saying make him a biggie. If the fans demand it, and there is the demand, and I believe that there is a demand building, go as far as you can with it. I would love to see Cena and Daniel Bryan, at SummerSlam. I think that would be a great showing to have, and maybe do the Punk Cena kind of environment that they had. And I think it could be just as strong with those two as it was with Punk and Cena. And when you think about it, it's also a testament to his abilities, because much like CM Punk, he has been hit with every political landmine or creative landmine that every creative pothole that you could think of, yet he still survived them and still stayed over. And to me, that's saying something. And if you can do that and you can survive the things that they've done, look, just go as far as you can. Go all the way with him. Go as far as possible. Look, it's money on the table, and you don't want to leave money on the table. You want to do something. Strike when the iron's hot. Go far, push hard, go forward. Because what fans have been complaining about is the lack of new main event stars in the main event picture. People are tired of seeing Cena because they don't relate to him, or whatever reasons it is. People are bored with Randy Orton. People are, fed up of seeing, The Rock, this Hollywood star coming back, and it's killing the business, which it doesn't. But people are tired of these things, but they like Daniel Bryan and they want to see him in the mix, and it's something different. He looks different, he wrestles different, he does everything different, and I think that's a big part of why he is catching on and why they need to go with him. And let's not have this nonsense where they kind of half-heartedly push him this time. And then they give someone like a Drew McIntyre a bigger push. I remember, let's just not even talk about Drew McIntyre because I'll just lose my temper. But the fact is, we need to go all the way with him. They need to go all the way with him. And perhaps it looks like we're going to get a summer of Daniel Bryan. And if that's the case, I'm looking forward to it. And just to wrap up, I think that the babyface turn is inevitable. The fully fledged babyface turn. If you watched SmackDown last week, Orton turned on Daniel Bryan in the match, and it was perceived as a heel turn, but we'll see tonight what they do. Let's hope they don't fuck it and just switch it around and do something stupid. But Orton did turn on Daniel Bryan last week on SmackDown. And also, if you go back to the SmackDown before when Daniel Bryan took out the Shield, and the way the crowd were reacting, it was like friggin' Randy Savage or Hogan. Well, I wouldn't say Hogan, but it was very, very, very big, and the fans were really behind him. And that's a very, very, very good thing. And he's so behind. I'll give you an example. He could just do punches and kicks in a match, and the fans will get behind him, which is saying something. So if he unleashes his full arsenal of moves, God knows what he's going to do. He's going to blow the fucking roof off the place anywhere he goes. Anyways, just wrapping up, I think that Orton turning heel kind of cements turning Bryan face, and that's a good program in the interim. if they do Bryan and Orton on the next pay-per-view and the next pay-per-view after that, and then they lead to Bryan and John Cena, which I think would be a great main event for SummerSlam. And speaking of which, while I wrap up, why not at SummerSlam have Bryan and Cena? Why not at SummerSlam have CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar, which is another match I think fans want to see? Why not have those two matches? Why not do The Shield versus the Wyatt family? Why not have, if you can get The Rock involved in something with Dolph Ziggler? Why not mix things up for a change? Because ain't nobody want to see another Orton John Cena match, okay? That interests me. That match has about as much appeal as this empty can of links at this point for me, okay? Give the matches the fans want to see, that the fans want to pay, because if you're in the business of making money, that's what you want to do, and we want to see it. So give us what we want, please. We've asked nicely, don't make us turn nasty. Guys, this is my God knows how many videos I've done now. Anyways, I'm going to stop. You tell me what you think. Are they going to make Bryan a face? Is this going to be the summer of Daniel Bryan, much like the summer of Punk, the summer of Nexus, the summer of the Shawn Michaels heel turn and Hulk Hogan? Is it going to be one of those ones? Or are they going to put some ball and chains and gag him and mess him up? Let me know what you think. If you've never seen me before and this is your first time, hello. Guys, I do videos on MMA and pro wrestling and boxing. It's okay to like all three. If you want to talk to each other, that's great. Guys, I'm going to stop. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, and hopefully I will be back very, very soon. So, peace.